Hi, and welcome to Future Success channel. I wanted to do a video on the Mossberg 590 Shockwave. Um, there's lots of videos out there on this gun, shooting it and talking about how it's a middle finger to the NFA, and well, all of that is great, and I totally endorse saying fuck you to the NFA. I've never heard anyone talk about actually using this gun for something remotely useful. So, to start with, is this as good as a stock shotgun? No. That's, you just need to accept that, get over it. Uh, this is trading usability for size. And to be honest, the real limiting factor for a shotgun is its overall length. Shotguns are fucking long. The fact that this gun is as short as it is and holds 5 rounds is really awesome. Now you could say, well, get a regular pistol grip shotgun, does the same thing, same rolling. Yes and no. Like, it's still longer when actually using it, in my opinion. So, how do we use this thing? Well, if we're going to stick with it as configured, which for the first half of the video we're going to talk about that. If we're going to stick with it as a pistol grip shotgun, there's a few things you need to do. First off, you need to address the grip. Whether you stipple this or do like I did, this is like some of that camo form ace banded shit. That is enough to make it to where you can actually hang on to the thing. Without that, that grip is just super slick, and you see lots of old men who don't have enough grip strength hurting themselves with this shotgun as a result of that being so slick. And I'll put it to you that even as a younger man with good grip strength, you'll benefit from that too. So no matter which case you are, I would definitely do that. The sling, I don't know if that's really necessary. I like having it on there because I hang it on a hook by the sling. Okay, you can do that by the strap too. And while we're talking about the strap, I would never remove this. This is awesome. This is why I would buy this gun over the Remington. And if you buy an early enough one of these, it doesn't have Mossberg embroidered on it, which I think is nice. I think it looks much better not having a Mossberg ad on the bottom of the thing. Okay, so between that and that, you're hanging onto the gun now, right? Next off, I don't see this as being a primary weapon. I view it as being something stashed in a vehicle or hung on the wall or, something you grab in an emergency. So, you're not going to have spare ammo. So you need as much ammo on the gun as possible, which is why, figure out how to hold this. The Velcro side saddle. This is an SOE gear one, but other people make them too. It's just fucking awesome. That is the best way to have a side saddle, in my opinion. It stays on, it doesn't rattle loose, there's no screws. It's lightweight. That is the best way to add ammo to a shotgun. Gives you 6 rounds plus 5 in the tube. It's 11 rounds of 12 gauge. Okay. So now, about sights. I've heard all sorts of shit be suggested for these, from lasers and red dots and whatever. The XS Big Dot there is by far your best option, at least in my opinion. We'll get to what I do to use that here in just a second, but with the XS Big Dot, if you're hip shooting it, you're using it as a reference point. If you're aim firing it, it's a day-night sight that works, so yay. Now, to be able to shoot the thing without ending up like a fucking, looking like a pirate with one one big black patch over one eye after you hit yourself in the eye, which, to be honest, would actually go with this gun because it looks a little bit piratey with that grip anyway, in my opinion. Anyway, stupid joke. In order to not do that, this Fiocchi low recoil buck you've been looking at is the load I suggest for this gun, and it is the thing that makes this viable. With full power buckshot, this thing is painful to shoot. At least I think it is. I think any 12 gauge pistol grip, whatever, is fucking painful to shoot with buckshot and slugs. This stuff has about the same recoil as like a handicap skeet load, which is like nothing. And it hits like buckshot. You might say, but you're losing feet per second, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter. At the ranges we're talking about, it doesn't fucking matter. The weight of the projectiles and the number of them is what is important in my opinion. As long as it's going over 1,000 feet per second, which this is. And just in full disclosure, I liked this shit before I got a free case of it from them. I got a free case of it from them because I was talking it up. And I was talking about how much I liked it. And a buddy of mine who works there was like, you want a free case of it? And I'm like, fuck yes, I'll take a free case of fucking my favorite ammo. Sure, why not? I like to occasionally promote them just because they gave me a free case of ammo. I would like to get more in the future. If you see the camera shake, we're on a wooden deck, and that's just the nature of a fucking tripod. Sorry about that. Anyway, so in full disclosure, I did get a free case of ammo from them, but I would be pimping this shit out anyway. Lots of people on fucking YouTube talk about, you know, being a shill for this and shill for that or whatever. Honestly, I don't really give a fuck. If I like it, I'll talk about it. If I don't, I won't. I've gotten like, I think 3 or 4 free things over the years. Whoop-de-fucking-do. I know, like, there are people who receive a lot more than that. But, I don't know. For me, I only talk about the shit I like. If they want to send me free shit, yay. And that's the case with Fiocchi. Now, also on that note, there are other low recoil bucks besides Fiocchi. Why do I like this shit? Because this is like $6 a box, $7 a box. It's fucking crazy cheap. It's like 50 cents a shot for fucking buckshot. So that's why I had some of it already. It's just because it was cheap. And it got put into this gun because, well, we were looking for low recoil options. So, with all that in mind, hands down Fiocchi. Now, aiming this thing versus shooting from the hip. I tend to think shooting from the hip is fucking useless. Whoa. Big airplane, sorry. I'm not editing this, so you just get to live with that. Anyway, the reason I don't really like shooting from the hip that much is because even with practice, you still don't really know where your first shot's going, in my opinion. Maybe subsequent shots, yes, you could know, but first shot, you're going to be high a lot, more than likely. That's just the way of, you know, holding a fucking shotgun tends towards that. All that in mind, we're using the reduced recoil, so why not aim it? And for those of you going, well, what if you mess up, whatever? Like, literally, I would put this against my body and pull the fucking trigger with this slow recoil shit. It's not a big deal. And you have 2 hands on the gun. Push out with both of them. You'll be fine. Now, the idea of putting something else on it besides that grip. I am toying around with the idea of putting a pistol brace on this thing. From my understanding, that is fully legal to do. There's nothing preventing you from doing it. And the reason I haven't is because it's going to cost a couple $100 to do. That's the drawback. And it kills the overall length of this thing, as far as like putting it in a bag or something like that. Doesn't affect its practical overall length for like actually shooting it, because you're going to be out there anyway. So as far as like I don't know, home defense type tool, the stock would actually make it better, in my opinion. I'm sorry, pistol brace. And how I would do that is a Mesa Tactical stock adapter. It's called the COP adapter, I think. It's the one I would do. It's the plain Jane simple. Puts an AR tube on the end of a shotgun. I'd do that. I'd get, whatever pistol grip I liked, and I'd get a pistol buffer tube from SB Tactical, and probably the SB Tactical M4 brace. I think that would be the best on this shotgun. And I would continue using the low recoil buck, because that really isn't a way to mitigate recoil. I mean, I don't know about you, but there's not a pistol brace made that I would want to take full power 12 gauge recoil out of. Especially not the damn blade, which is my default go-to pistol brace. But, for 5.56 and 9mm 22, that's great. Do that. For 12 gauge, I want something with some more cushion, number one. And number two, even with that more cushion, probably still using this shit. That's the way it is, as far as I'm concerned. I think the advantages of having the pistol brace outweigh the disadvantages. I'm probably going to do that eventually. But the only thing is, like, as soon as you do that, you're going to get funny looks from all sorts of people thinking, that's just a short barrel shotgun, blah, blah, blah. And you're going to get every FUD in the world and every cop in the world telling you what you're doing is illegal when it's not. And for those of you going, well, it is illegal. Well, I would suggest you go look at shit that is being sold by Fostech with a fucking ATF letter that is essentially a shotgun like this, one of the not a shotgun shotguns, with a fucking brace on the back of it. Okay, they are selling that as a product in the open market with an ATF letter. That was the thing that kind of pushed me over on the it's legal thing. It's like, with all of this shit, it's such a gray area. No one really knows the truth, and going to the fucking internet doesn't help. And you might be like, well, you should write the NFA technology branch, blah, blah, blah. I fucking hate writing the ATF, number one. Number two, every time we do that, it's just adding fuel to the fire of these things eventually getting fucking nixed, as far as I'm concerned. So you do what you want, but I like to make my conclusions based on shit other than what the ATF says. Next, like, what philosophy, or I don't know what to call it, like, what role do you see this being used in? Well, for me, anything you would use a standard shotgun for, once it has that brace on it, go to town. Without the brace, it's really limited. Car defense, this thing is awesome. It's short, it's powerful, it's, look at the auto burglar shotguns made in the fucking the 20s. This is a modern day version of that. That's non-NFA. Home defense, maybe. I think you got better options. So there's no storage issue there. If you wanted to just have something hanging on a hook by the front door, that's kind of where mine stays. I did recently actually have to use this. I was looking at braces at a gun store that I frequent, that I know the owner pretty well, actually. And I had the gun unloaded with a side saddle full of shells, and wasn't carrying any other gun that day just because I didn't fucking feel like it, and was only going to that gun store. Ended up stopping at a gas station on the way back, and basically some fucking crazy person attacked my car and was fixing to attack me, I pulled out the shotgun and ran a couple rounds into it and was like, what the fuck, dude? You know, if you really want to do this, then let's do it. So I was glad I had it then, and that kind of makes me want to like keep it in a car, as it's really handy for that. And even like, say you lived in a state where you had to have it unloaded on the road, you can have a loaded side saddle, and I loaded this thing very, very quickly. So, I don't know. It's up to you. If you want to just make it a range toy, that's perfectly viable too. But I think this thing actually does have merit as a real weapon, especially get that fucking pistol brace on there. Like once you do that, I think this is better than any shotgun on the market for home defense. And you might be like, what makes you say that? Well, every other shotgun is longer than this from here forward. So that gives people more to grab onto. And it's sort of like the difference between an M16A2 and like a short barrel rifle AR. One is considerably better for in close quarters than the other is. It's that length from, you know, where you're gripping the gun to the muzzle. It's a critical length. And if you can shave 4 inches off of this thing, it makes it a lot better gun. It just does. Provided that you can still have a stock on it. Now, I didn't even talk about SBS project. This thing is an awesome SBS project if that's the way you want to go. I think that's the coolest part about this is you used to have to like buy a shotgun and then gather up all the parts and then fill out the SBS shit. Now you can buy this, send off your Form 1, and wait to buy a stock. You know, have this to play with the whole fucking time. That's really cool. I really, really hate waiting for NFA paperwork to be able to do something I want to do. And if I can just have something to keep me busy in the meantime, like this, that's pretty awesome. I really like that. Anyway, you guys have a nice day. Tell me what you think in the comments below. Novelty or legitimate weapon? I tend to fall somewhere in between, so I'll see you guys later.